Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Penn. I just want to give you the latest update on Hurricane Matthew. We're still 5 days away from any potential impact in the Carolinas, if at all. But there are some parts of the state that I'm growing a little bit more concerned about, mainly because of their susceptibility to any type of wind or wave action, even with an offshore wind. And obviously, that is going to be the Outer Banks. Let me give you the latest that as of this morning. You can see the circulation this morning. It looks like it's becoming a little bit more cloud covered in the eye, but the hurricane hunters are out there right now and they're finding that the storm is actually stronger. What's interesting to me is how the storm has been moving right along this 75 west longitude line. So it's moving due west. That's a good sign. When there's no more westward movement, and now that it's moving north, we might actually see a little bit of a northerly trek. Here's the hurricane hunters. They're out there right now, and you can see they did find a pressure of 940 millibars, and that's a sign that the storm has actually gotten a little bit stronger. Now, people see these pressures all the time. They don't really understand what they mean. Low pressure in the atmosphere means a strong storm, even extratropical. Low pressure, nor'easter, hurricane. The lower the pressure, the stronger the system is. The higher the pressure, the better the weather. It's high pressure means good weather. Low pressure means bad weather. So when the pressure is lowering, that's a sign that the storm is getting stronger, or deeper, we call it. So when you see that, you know that the storm is getting stronger. Here's a look at the latest track from the Hurricane Center. Winds right now are at 130 miles an hour, but based on the recon, don't be surprised if we see it increased to maybe 140 or 145 even. I think 140 is probably most likely in the next advisory, which is the top of the hour. You can see pressure was 943 millibars with the earlier advisory, but as I just said, the hurricane hunters are finding pressure dropped about 3 millibars. As we go out into the future here, we'll kind of show you how this moves over the next couple of days. By Thursday, it's still in the Bahamas early Thursday morning. By Friday morning, it's off the east coast of Florida, and then we'll go to Saturday 2 o'clock in the morning. So this is basically Friday night into Saturday morning. Notice it's still well offshore, but remember, this is the cone we're watching, and parts of the Carolinas are now in the cone of uncertainty, we call it. So that's something we've got to watch. We want to be completely out of this to be safe completely, but the fact that most of the cone is still over here tells me that there's basically going to be a track offshore. Now, the one thing I'm worried about is this track is probably going to do like this, is the Outer Banks in eastern North Carolina would be more of a concern. So when we look at the probabilities of tropical storm force winds, you could see most of North and South Carolina, at least in the 10 to 20% chance of getting 40-mile-an-hour winds. Right now, it's just too far out. There's no percentage for hurricane force winds, so that's good news that we don't have that potential. But let me show you a couple things that will have me concerned. This is the GFS model Saturday morning. It has the storm passing very, very close to the Outer Banks and parts of North Carolina coast. You can see, we'll go to Saturday morning, and you can see this is just one model, mind you, the GFS. It's really, really close. Now, its deterministic model, which is one run of that model, is close. Most of the mean of the model or the other runs are out here a little bit, but this is too close of a call. This would still be a dangerous storm for the Outer Banks if this were to occur. Now, what's interesting is the European model, which is actually, honestly, in full disclosure, has done the best so far with this storm. It's actually done better than the actual Hurricane Center track. Is much slower. So Saturday, it has the storm way down here and still further offshore, and it has it kind of meandering for a couple days and maybe doing one of these and then going out to sea. But it could take all weekend for it to move off. But it is much further offshore. And just to kind of show you, you can see there was the last pass. Let's see. Okay, the pressure is still, it's up to 942 millibars. So that's good news. The system maybe just briefly went down. Let me show you all the tracks from the Hurricane Center for Matthew, if I can plot them all here. No, why they're not all plotting. Let's see. Oh, that's why I got the wrong one on. There we go. So let me put them all on here. And you can see that's all the model tracks. So pretty consistent. If you go right down the middle, take the average, this is pretty much the Hurricane Center track right now. So that makes sense. And then you get up towards the Bahamas. You see that curve back out towards the northeast. The question is, is how fast that happens. So when you look at the Carolinas, here's the dilemma. This is going to be a close call. The majority of the models are now right in here, basically. If you take a cluster right there and a big cluster there, this is probably the average right there. That is a close call for the Outer Banks, Carteret County, this area right here. So if you live in this area, if you have plans to travel out there, this is where I would go from our concern is low now to medium. Now, on a scale from 1 to 4, we're at a 2. So still nothing to really be freaked out about, but because of the way the Outer Banks are, and you know it if you've been out there, any nor'easter, any coastal storm, any persistent onshore wind can spell problems because of overwashing of Highway 12 and whatnot. So that's the only reason that I would be a little bit more of a concern for the Outer Banks than I was yesterday, because this is going to be a little bit closer. And part of the reason it's going to be closer is the overall forecast has not changed. We still got high pressure out here and this trough digging down. The problem is not that this ridge is getting that much stronger in the guidance. It's just that this storm is starting much farther west. So this whole pattern is now here instead of over here, like it was maybe a day or two ago. So that's really the reason for the shift west. It's not so much about, hey, this ridge has gotten stronger and so now it's pushing in and the trough is weaker. We still don't know that completely, but this is more a factor or product of the system being a little farther west than the models had indicated a couple days ago. But still, this is a close shave, folks, especially Outer Banks, Carteret County, eastern North Carolina. Stay on guard. Still not a huge concern. We've got time. Again, the timing for this is going to be Friday night into Saturday, possibly even Sunday, depending on the speed. So pay attention to the weather. Stay weather aware. I'll have updates throughout the week. I'll probably post 2 of these videos a day, maybe a shorter version this evening with any changes. And stay tuned for the latest model runs and track updates, which will be coming up later this morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope you have a great Monday. Our weather's great otherwise. No impact here in the Western Carolinas. Our concern is all about the coast.